Hello guys and welcome back for the March JRPG news roundup. We start with the Falcom news as always. On the merch side of things, Falcom have released some 20th anniversary merchandise surrounding the Trail series, desk mats, tapestries, acrylic stands and the like. Be mindful there are spoilers on it all the way to Kuro, like C's identity from Reverie. On the Western Front, Trails Through Daybreak's limited edition has been finalised, and I'm happy to say it looks better than the initial pictures. It's still in stock on both the NA and EU sites, though the North American version is close to running out as of the time of recording. On the game side of things, we start with a rhythm title of all things called DJ Max Respect V. And the reason it's being mentioned is because it has a Falcom specific DLC pack which includes songs like Blue Destination and Sunshine Coastline. Will I play it? No, but it's there if you're into those types of games. The browser title Akatsuki no Kiseki has noted it will be ending PC support on July 2024 after 8 years of service. I never played it myself, but it did come with some great looking artwork once in a while. I imagine that Northern War will be taking its place for the next couple of years. Clouded Leopard Entertainment have announced this month that they have removed their PC port of East 10 Nordics, apologising to fans and stating that a patch is in the works. It was taken down because even by their standards, it was bad. It's standard to have poorly implemented features from them, like a lack of options that should be there by default and keybind remaps that don't work, but the game will at least run, and their versions of Daybreak and Crimson Sin were passable. The PC version of East 10 couldn't even do that. The strongest of machines couldn't get it to a solid 60 FPS, it consistently crashed, and irrespective that many people will use a controller to play the game, if you're bringing it to PC, you should have a keyboard and mouse option as a standard. That's just unforgivable. It was poorly received, and for good reason, so they're working on sorting it out. Just a reminder really that Durante's and PH3's PC ports will always be the cream of the crop. Bringing it back to good news though, Trails in the Sky FC now has a fan translation available for French players, which is always great for added accessibility to the series. And we end the Falcom news with a big reveal, and that as part of the 10th anniversary of Tokyo Xanadu, Falcom have announced the tentatively yet fittingly named Tokyo Xanadu new project, and have coupled it with this image teaser. This is all we have at present, but the signs have been there that a new Tokyo Xanadu was on the way, and Falcom were clearly gearing up to share it this month considering the silhouettes of two unrecognisable characters that were on the monthly calendar for March. We'll most likely hear more as the year goes on, and it's potentially going to be the big release for the end of year shareholder meeting. To the general JRPG news now, starting with merch and Edelweiss, who have stated that Sakuna of Rise and Ruin is getting an animated series, due to air this year. That came out of nowhere, but hey, I'll take it. I don't expect it to be amazing as many of these game adaptations often are lacking, but it's being produced by PA Studios who aren't too bad in terms of a track record. They've recently worked on stuff like Buddy Daddies, which is a brilliant anime, and Uma Musume Pretty Derby, which was alright as well, so at the very least the capability is there. Talking about anime, we move to Gust now, an Atelier Riser, which has recently concluded its own animated series, but the news doesn't concern that. It's figures, of course it is. Good Smile are releasing these 1/6 scales of Riser and Claudia for $147 each, releasing on Q3 2025, and Claynel have shown this summer variant of Riser in 1/7 scale, releasing in March 2025. It comes to 22,000 yen. Monolith Soft are up next, as Wayuu Records have announced a Kickstarter for a Xenosaga piano collection called Across the Cosmos. Nice name. It had a $33,000 goal, and it's hit that well in advance. Now it's all about the stretch goals. Not sure why it's on Kickstarter, but it is licensed merch, so something to keep an eye on for Xeno fans. To Atlas now, and a tabletop RPG called SMT Tokyo Conception has had its rules and mechanics shared for the first time. It's around $60 to pre-order and won't be releasing until September 2026. There's also an SMT vinyl and Mothman plush available in pre-order for $89 and $32 respectively via Fangamer. We end the merch roundup with Square, a Tifa and Cloud figure available to pre-order in these attack animation poses, $64 for Cloud and $133 for Tifa. There are also these pixel lights of Lightning, Cloud and Terra for $30 each, shipping in October 2024. To the developer news now, starting with Square. The producer of Harvestella, Daisuke Taka, has announced that he will leave Square Enix come the end of April. He has stated that he's currently undecided on what he'll do next, but it wouldn't surprise me if he chooses to pursue his own studio in the future to work on projects he has passion for, especially since Square announced that they are dropping the smaller titles from their development backlog. A couple of demos are now available, Sandland and the Front Mission 2 demo if you want to try them out. And in light of the release of Unicorn Overlord, the director of Final Fantasy Tactics, Yasumi Matsuno, has encouraged people to play the game and show their demand for more games of the same ilk. This has been a rallying call for fans considering the rumours of a Final Fantasy Tactics revival. Star Ocean's Second Story R recently had an update to allow players to, quote, continuously enjoy your journey through the stars. This included a new difficulty setting, new equipment, and new raid enemies. Nothing too crazy. Last is Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 16 has its DLC, The Rising Tide, launching on April the 18th, and it's been noted that the PC port is in its final stages of optimization. Expect to hear something about that in the near future. And as for rumours of the Final Fantasy IX remake, Naoki Yoshida was asked why several of the purchase bonuses for upcoming Final Fantasy XIV expansion Dawn Trail were related to that entry, of which at present he states it is a secret. To Edelweiss now, in addition to the anime, they have noted that Sakuna of Rice and Ruin has sold 1.5 million units worldwide, well deserved too. Capcom are up next concerning the upcoming release of Monster Hunter Stories. It's in fact coming out as a collection of the two games, though the physical copies are a bit odd in how they're releasing. Japan and North America are getting a physical Switch version, while Europe are getting a physical PS4 version. Digital though will be available for all regions, as you would expect. I've seen no further update on whether this will change. It's also worth noting that Monster Hunter Stories 2, which comes in the collection, will be download only, while the remaster of the first game will be available off the physical copy. Furyu have responded to criticism of their trailer for Rei Nartis, as people noted the inconsistent frame rate during combat sequences. The developer have stated that the trailer was not representative of the final product and have apologised. Atlus are up next, and the Persona series has since sold 22 million units worldwide this month. An expansion pass for Persona 3 Reload is also on the cards for September, called Episode Aegis The Answer. As of the time of recording, its development sits at around 40 to 50%, and it'll add around 20 hours of playtime. Those hoping for FemC though, forget it, as producer Kazuhisa Wada has stated that there is, quote, no chance she will be included in Reload. Lastly for Atlus are the Persona 6 leaks. A known and reliable leaker has apparently stated the focus of gameplay mechanics, in that it will maintain the high school setting with a semi-open world feel, but will place more importance on the social links. It's also suggested that the game will be coming to Xbox come launch. 505 Games are up next, and they have stated that the physical versions for Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes have been delayed till May 2024 in the Americas and EMEA regions, but all backers will receive a digital copy at launch so that they can play on release day. Sabotage Studios have announced that Sea of Stars hit 5 million players worldwide this month, and in addition, they are adding a free-player couch co-op mode which is still in development. Shift Up Games released a demo for Stellar Blade this month, but clearly in error because it quickly disappeared. Even those who managed to download it couldn't access the game, but not to fear, because the demo is releasing for March 29th, so in other words it's already available. Creators of Like a Dragon, Ryuga Kotoku Studios have stated that something important is due to be announced on April the 1st. The tweet did feature Like a Dragon characters, so one can assume it is related to that series in some way. Spike Chunsoft are up next, and it's if the stars are aligning. I start playing AI The Somnium Files, and now the writer Kotaro Uchikoshi is putting out cryptic tweets with odd-looking imagery and unreadable characters. It's very similar to what he did with the sequel Nirvana Initiative, so some are deducing that an announcement for a third game is coming up. This was followed up with another image from director Okada that pretty much confirmed it's AI related. Bandai Namco are up next, and several Tales of titles were unceremoniously removed from the PlayStation Network this month. These games include the likes of Graces F and Systeria for EU regions, while North America lost Hearts R and Symphonia Chronicles among others. Sadly, this now means the games are locked to their native hardware like the Vita and PS3. We were informed that Sony were planning to close the PlayStation 3 and Vita stores anyway, so it's likely that the licenses simply ran out and they chose not to renew them since it wouldn't make sense to do so for a small amount of sales. Even so, there was no announcement from Bandai Namco when it happened, and of course now it means those titles are ever more difficult to access. At present, it doesn't look like there's any word of bringing these to modern platforms. Game Arts have trademarked Lunar, most likely as some sort of renewal process. We can hold out hope that it might one day translate to a Lunar collection on modern hardware. Gust are up next, who have stated that Atelier Marie and Rise of Free are having a collaboration with Phantasy Star 2 Online, but more notably, that producer Junzo Hosoi has confirmed a new console Atelier is currently in development. So yeah, it looks like Resiana was the stopgap, and they needed more time for the actual release. Thank goodness for that. Vanillaware are up next, and it's all about Unicorn Overlord, which has been doing very well. It sold out of physical copies in Japan very quickly, selling around 74,000 physical units within that first week of launch. That number was only considering Japan. I imagine it is inflated further when considering the worldwide release, as the limited edition is pretty much sold out everywhere. And that's good news, because they stated that come the end of development they had run out of money for the project, so evidently they'll want to recoup as much as possible. So far, everything's looking rosy, and for good reason, because the game's great. Unfortunately, there was also confirmation that a PC port will not be coming, such is the history of Vanillaware and the platform. They just prefer to stick to consoles. Shame, but it is what it is. And before we move to the upcoming releases, we have two notable persons within the JRPG sphere who have sadly passed on. Following the passing of Yoshitaka Murayama last month, it has been shared that initially the tales of character designer Mutsumi Inomata has passed away at the age of 63, a lady who provided her recognisable style and flair to many mainline Tales of titles, and often did so outside of that franchise too. And secondly, arguably the most influential and recognisable mangaka of all time in Akira Toriyama has passed away at the age of 68, who to many will be recognisable for his contribution to the likes of Dragon Quest and Chrono Trigger, while also bringing many of us everlasting childhood memories through anime like Dragon Ball. We end this month with the upcoming releases, starting with subscription services, where PlayStation Plus has added Super Neptunia RPG to their catalogue. Visual novels are up next briefly. We have a romance VN called Amanatsu Perfect Edition coming to PC on a yet undisclosed date, another romance visual novel called Since Memories Off the Starry Sky coming to PS4, Switch and PC for around September this year. Otome visual novel Radiant Tale Fanfare is coming west to Switch on June the 27th, and the remade Tsukihime A Piece of Glass Moon is coming to PS4 and Switch for June 27th. And now, the RPG releases. Turn-based RPG Persona Anomalous Tower Chronicle, a spin-off of the original Persona, now has a fan translation released on Nintendo Switch. Action RPG Astronauts of Vader is releasing for April the 2nd for mobile and PC. Pet Sim Adventure RPG Yoke Heroes Along Tamago, nice play on words there, is releasing on April 30th for PC and mobile also. Turn-based strategy title Anomaly Collapse is releasing for April the 12th on PC. Dungeon RPG Touhou Genso Wanderer Foresight is releasing for May the 15th on PC. Creature Collector RPG Home of the Yokai is releasing for July the 10th on PC. Turn-based RPG Terra Memoria has released this month on March the 27th for PS5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch and PC. Turn-based RPG Maliki Poison of the Past has been announced with no release date currently given, due to come out for Switch and PC. Creature Companion Fantasy RPG Azure Promelia, that comes from the minds of Azure Lane, has been announced with no release date for PS5 and mobile. Pre-registrations are available. SRPG Reverse Collapse codename Bakery has since released on March the 22nd for PC. The original East 2 from the PC-88 has since released earlier this month as well, March, for Nintendo Switch. Narrative Adventure RPG Until Then is due for a May 23rd release for PS5 and PC. MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV Online has since released on March the 21st for Xbox Series, and its expansion Dawn Trail is due to release for all modern platforms on July the 2nd. Card-based RPG Card and Seal has been announced with no release date, coming to all modern platforms. Turn-based RPG Witch Spring R will be releasing in the second half of 2024 for PS5 and Nintendo Switch. Turn-based RPGs, the Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth trilogy, are all releasing in March 2024 for Switch, though unlike Japan, will not be getting a PS4 version. Action RPG Neptunia Game Maker R Evolution is releasing on May the 14th for PS4, PS5 and Nintendo Switch. A limited edition is also available to pre-order. Turn-based RPG Monster Hunter Stories Remaster is releasing on June the 14th for Nintendo Switch, PS4 and PC. Monster Hunter Stories 2 will also be coming to PS4 on the same date. It is already available on Nintendo Switch and PC. Turn-based RPG SMT5 Vengeance will be released for all modern platforms on June the 14th, pushed up from its previous release date. Turn-based RPG's Grandia HD Collection has since released this month, March the 26th, for Xbox One and PS4. A physical version is also available via limited run games. Turn-based RPG Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door will be releasing on May the 23rd for Nintendo Switch. And finally, turn-based action hybrid RPG Trails Through Daybreak will be releasing on July the 5th for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch and PC. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe for more JRPG content and consider joining my Patreon if you're interested. Peace.